for this 24-hour reading lineup, I have 3 books that I have chosen myself, and then I'm going to let my teacup TBR do the choosing for me. There are a bunch of random prompts that are in this teacup. The only restrictions I'm giving myself is that I want the books to be 400 pages or under, or around 400 pages, just because I am a very slow reader, as we've established in my other readathon. It was a 12-hour readathon and I literally made my way through 2.5 books, and one of the books was a novella. I genuinely am such a slow reader, and if I pick an 800-page fantasy book, it's going to take me literally like 16 hours to get through. And of course I want to make this video as entertaining as possible for all of you, so we're going to be sticking to some shorter books. So the first book that I'm going to be reading for this weekend readathon is the book that I am currently in the middle of, which is Vengeance by V.E. Schwab. I'm not someone who loves to start unfinished series. This is a trilogy, and I actually got my hands on the arc for the third and final book of this series, so I was waiting for that book to come out. I believe it comes out in October, and NetGalley very nicely approved me for the arc, so I'm so excited. I obviously had to dive in right away. So that is the first book I'm going to be starting this readathon with. I'm going to be finishing it. I think I'm about 60% of the way through currently, and then at some point this weekend I also want to start the second book in this series, which is called Vengeful. I don't think I will be tackling the third book for the purpose of this video, but I obviously will be reading it very soon. And then the third book that I'm also going to include as my personal choice is Carmilla, because I have been saying that I'm going to be reading this book for now a year. It's actually quite tragic how many times I said I was going to read this book and I have not, and it's super short, so there's no excuse. This is literally the perfect occasion for me to be picking up Carmilla, which is the OG vampire story. It was written in the late 1800s, and it is essentially the story that inspired Dracula, believe it or not. So I'm really excited to read this. I have a feeling I'm going to love it. I just need to actually sit down and read it. So I will be reading this at some point this weekend as well. And now for my TBR teacup, let's pick the prompts to figure out the last 3 books that I'm going to be reading this weekend. So the first prompt says, a book with stars on the cover. Ooh, this is a good one. This one's actually really exciting. Off the top of my head, I can't think of any. So after I pick the 3 prompts, I'm gonna go to my bookshelf here and figure out a book with a cover that has stars on it. For my next prompt, this one keeps falling, so I'm gonna take it as a sign that this is meant to be my next read. And the prompt is, start the first book in a new series. Don't really love this one, to be honest, because I'm in the middle of a series right now. There is one series that I've been really wanting to start, and it is the Prison Healer series, so I maybe will take this as my sign that I need to start it. Okay, and for the third and final book, I'm so excited. Okay. Ooh. A book you owned forever but haven't read. I actually thought about this prompt when I was brushing my teeth this morning, and I think it's so funny that I pulled this, because what do you mean? I was thinking about it this morning. And now we have our 3 prompts, and now I need to go to my bookshelf and figure out what these 3 books are going to be. Picked out the 3 books for these prompts. The first prompt was a book with stars on the cover, and for that one I picked Cackle by Rachel Harrison. This is going to be my first Rachel Harrison book, and I'm so excited because I've heard that this woman writes some strange things. And that's right up my alley. I absolutely love a good weird book. This one will be left for last place just because I'm a scaredy cat. I love reading horror. I love it, don't get me wrong, but I need someone home with me while I'm sleeping. By then my husband will hopefully be home and I will no longer be alone, as I am alone this weekend. I get very scared very easily, so we'll leave this one for last. The next prompt was start the first book in a new series. So I did decide to go with The Prison Healer. Everyone that I know who has read this says that I'm going to love it. I love a good young adult fantasy book. However, Book Talk has let me down before, so And then the third and final prompt was a book you've owned forever but haven't read. I decided to go with This Is How You Lose the Time War, which I'm very excited to read this. It's one of those books that I know I'm going to love. It's been on my bookshelf for a hot minute and somehow just always gets pushed to the side whenever I'm deciding my next read. So I'm excited to dive in and see what it's all about finally. So this is the official lineup for this weekend. I'm very excited, and now there's nothing left to do but to actually dive in. Get cozy on the couch, maybe get some snacks, and let's dive into this 24-hour readathon. Wish me luck. Wow! I've got my iced latte with vanilla cold foam here to keep me company on this extremely rainy day. It is quite literally the perfect weekend to be doing this readathon because it is pouring all weekend long. So love that for me. The first book that I'm going to be diving into, as I mentioned, is going to be Vicious by V.E. Schwab. I am only 45% of the way through. I thought I was a little bit further along, but clearly only just about halfway. It's essentially a story about two friends in college who end up developing superpowers, and the story takes place over two different timelines. So the first timeline is the past when they are in college and friends, and essentially it's the story of how they attain their powers. And then we also get the present day timeline where they are now enemies and one of them is exacting revenge on the other. It's really different than anything I've ever read. I think it's such a fun idea. Miss V.E. Schwab, who in my eyes can do no wrong. I absolutely loved The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. Okay, range is all I have to say for her as a writer. This is so entirely different. I feel like it was a complete different author that wrote this, honestly. The prose in The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue is so incredibly different from this. Obviously, the stories themselves are very different. Addie LaRue is definitely a more profound book in my opinion. There is still some really lovely prose in this story, but it's definitely more action-packed, whereas Addie LaRue was very slow. It was very slow moving Addie LaRue. I'm still very much entertained and I'm really liking it. It is 12:30 officially. Oh, I'm starting a little bit later than I wanted to. It's clearly going to be going until 12:30 tonight. So let's do this. Cheers. Little check-in is 3 o'clock now and I've just placed a huge order for Chinese food for one. That way I can just eat Chinese food literally all weekend long. I don't have to order again tomorrow for dinner, although it is only 3 o'clock. I think I'm gonna do a little bit of a late lunch, early dinner situation today because I did not eat lunch and I'm hungry right now. Waiting for that to arrive. I'm about 66% of the way through this book. The story is really picking up now. I'm not gonna lie. Like I'm getting very invested now. I'm genuinely in love with one of these main characters, Victor. I love him so much. He's such a mood. So basically the game plan is I'm going to continue reading until the Chinese food arrives. And then once my food does get here, I think I'm gonna take a little bit of a breather and watch an episode of Love Island to catch up because I am not caught up yet. I'm actually quite far behind. Then we will pick up where we left off and finish this first book. I was literally bamboozled by the DoorDash driver. There's nothing worse than when you click as a preference, leave at door. Like, please just leave my food at my door. I don't want to look at you eye to eye, sir. I don't want to see the judgment in your eye that I've ordered enough Chinese food to feed a family of 6 at 3 p.m. on a Saturday, and I am in fact the only one who will be consuming this food. I don't want to deal with that. I really don't. I'm so excited to eat. I'm so hungry. Peanut butter dumplings, of course. Vegetable fried rice. We have General Tao chicken, of course. And this was a wild card. I have not ordered this in years, but I saw it on the menu and I was like, I have to get it. Pineapple chicken. I literally have not had pineapple chicken in years, so I'm very, very excited. I'm very excited to eat all this.
Sometime soon. Yeah. Maybe I'm being overdramatic then. I don't think you're being overdramatic.
Food has been consumed and I am locking back in now. A little fun drink to rehydrate this afternoon. Wild berry is one of my favorite poppy flavors. It's so good. It's 6 o'clock and I just finished book 1 of this readathon. We're about halfway through today's 12 hours of reading and I've only finished half the book. But it's fine. It's fine. I'm going at the pace I'm going at, reading at the pace I'm reading at. I've been really bad with checking my phone and scrolling on TikTok. Not gonna punish myself for it. It is what it is. But I genuinely thoroughly enjoyed this book. I'm reading it 4 out of 5 stars. I am genuinely so attached to these characters. I love Victor. I love Sydney. I love Mitch and even Dole. My fight or flight kicked in literally while reading the last quarter of this book. Had my heart racing. I am really happy with how it ended and I'm very curious to see where book 2 goes with this storyline. So next on my TBR, I think I'm gonna go with Carmilla next just because I have put this book off one too many times and I'm not letting myself get away with it again. This book is getting read today, tonight. I'm reading this now. I think I'm gonna light a candle now. Get those vibes going, maybe put the fireplace going on the TV. I don't know if anyone else is like that. Fireplace is consistently on my TV in this household, even if it's the dead of summer like right now. Let's jump into Carmilla. It's like way later. It's Sweet Treat o'clock, so my favorite true fruits are the dark chocolate covered raspberry ones, but they didn't have any, very rudely, the last time I went to Walmart. So these are the second best ones in my opinion. They are the frozen banana, peanut butter, and dark chocolate ones. They are so good. I don't mind if I do. I finished. Essentially, this is a little bit of a gay gothic vampire story. This book was published in 1872, which is honestly shocking. I feel like it is well ahead of its time. One thing to note about Carmilla is that it is a classic, so please don't go into it thinking it's modern day language. It is not. However, for a classic, I think it is a very easy classic to get through. Carmilla is the story of a young girl named Laura who lives in near total isolation with her father in this beautiful estate. She lives there only with her father and the staff who work at the estate. One day, her and her father are out for a stroll. A carriage rushes by them and ends up tipping over, and in this carriage is this woman and her daughter Carmilla. This woman hurries off. She's like, can you please take care of my daughter? I'll be back for her in 3 months. Laura and her father take this young girl, Carmilla, in. She ends up living with them. They get very close. Laura, who is the main character, ends up finding friendship with Carmilla. However, Laura starts to experience some vivid and weird dreams. She also starts to hallucinate some figures at the edge of her bed. And although she's not suffering an illness of any kind, Laura feels herself start to grow weaker and weaker every single day. That's the gist of Carmilla. It's an extremely short read. I actually really highly suggest checking it out. I rated it 3.75 out of 5 stars. Like I said, who doesn't love a little gay gothic vampire story? Okay, so I've been yapping way too long. It's now like 11 o'clock. So I need to go get my pajamas on and brew a tea. That's what I need to do. And then I think I'm gonna crawl into bed actually, just to give myself a little change of scenery from this couch that I've been on all day. Start my next read, which I think is going to be This Is How You Lose the Time War. And I think I'm gonna try and go till 1 a.m. but if I get tired, I get tired. I started this readathon way later than I thought I was today. I thought I was gonna start at like 10 o'clock and I ended up starting it closer to 1, so. Saturday, 12:30. To be fair though, I was being productive this morning. I was editing a video for TikTok and then I did actually also shoot another video for TikTok. I'm going to make my second cup of coffee for the day and then I'm gonna sit my butt down on my lovely couch and update you guys on where we're at for this readathon. Let's go make this coffee. I did in fact start this book last night, like I said I would. However, I only made it 30 pages in before I started doom scrolling. I'm just a girl, okay? I'm just a girl. I don't know what I was expecting with this book. I had an idea of what it was about and I was very wrong, but to be honest, I didn't read the back. There are two characters, Red and Blue. We don't really know if these characters are human per se. To me, they don't sound like they are. They are living amongst the ashes of a dying world, and they are rival agents on opposing ends of a war. And essentially, they start to write letters to each other. I don't think I understood one sentence of what I was reading in these 30 pages. However, I'm going to explain myself here. Yes, it was 12:30 in the morning while I was reading this, so that perhaps played a factor, but I think it's just the intent behind this book. I can't really conceptualize anything in this book right now. Nothing is really making sense. We don't know where they are. They're on a dying world. It does not sound like it's Earth. It's a world of some sort. And like I said, these characters are not human. It's not very clear, which is part of the fun, I think. It is definitely a very unique reading experience. I have never read a book quite like this. It took me a good 2 chapters to really get into the groove of how this book is written, but I'm not hating it, to be honest. I'm really not hating it. It is a very unique reading experience. So the game plan now. The game plan. Let me get my coffee. It's another rainy day here in Montreal. Unfortunately, your girl is a little cooped up here. She's feeling a little cooped up. I didn't leave the house yesterday, so I am going to start today's readathon by sitting my butt down and finishing this book. I am not leaving this couch until this book is complete because I promised you all a readathon, and a readathon I shall give you. I have only finished 2 books so far, and one of them was a novella and the other one I was 50% of the way through. So I'd say this is a big fat fail so far. I did not read really for 12 hours yesterday. A wink wink, nudge nudge, we'll pretend I did, but I really did not. I was very antsy, I was scrolling my phone a lot, and it's fine, it happens. I'm not gonna punish myself for it, but I'm hoping today is a little bit more successful. With that being said, butt on couch, finish this book so that we can check 3 books off this readathon. And then I actually think, plot twist, I'm gonna maybe try and go for a walk if the rain lets up. I could use a little fresh air. While I go for that walk, hopefully, I am going to listen to the audiobook that I'm actually listening to, which was not on this readathon's TBR. I guess no walk for me today. I'm not hungry. It's like 3 o'clock. I'm a little more than halfway through, and the longer I read this story, the more I'm coming to the conclusion that this is a literary masterpiece. Sometimes I read a book and I genuinely cannot fathom how someone could write a piece of literature, and this is coming from a creative person. I genuinely don't know how some people come up with ideas. It's like next level creativity, and this is how I feel about this book. It is such an original piece of work. I can guarantee you have never read a book like this. You have never read, and you probably never will read a book like this ever again in your life. Oh my goodness. Where do I even start? I'm holding back tears here. This is a beautifully written story. I think it's a 4.75 star read for me. Maybe even 5 stars. Honestly, I'm gonna have to think on it because I'm very stingy with my 5 stars. This book essentially is a beautifully crafted allegory about love's ability to transcend boundaries that divide us. Red and Blue are the 2 main characters in this book, and they are 2 rival agents on opposing ends of a war. The relationship between Red and Blue in this book essentially act as a metaphor for choosing humanity over conflict. Wow, just wow. You guys, I can promise you that it's 5 stars. Honestly, 5-star read. Now that I'm really thinking about it, like, I feel so emotional thinking about this book. Wow, 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 wow. Truly, I have no other words. 5 stars. So basically it is now 5:30. I have to decide what I want to start next. Debating if I want to finish the audiobook that I only have about 2 hours left. I'm currently listening to 10 minutes 38 seconds in this strange world by Elif Shafak. To give you a little bit of a rundown of what this book is about, it follows Layla, who is a prostitute in Turkey that is murdered. And essentially the book is the last 10 minutes and 38 seconds of her brain activity before she passes. And she recounts a few memories of her life. It's a really special story with found family in it. It is definitely a little bit of a heavier read / listen. It does discuss some heavier topics like sex workers and trafficking, the exploitation of refugees, willful ignorance, and violence on a grand scale. So I think I might listen to the audiobook now just to give my eyes a little bit of a reset. I am off on a walk because I'm feeling very cooped up. I don't even know what hour we are at of being cooped up, but I definitely need to stretch my legs a little and just get some fresh air, and it's not supposed to rain for the next hour. So I'm hoping that I don't get caught in the rain. I'm gonna finish my audiobook. I have about an hour left. First and foremost, do we love what the humidity does to my hair? I was out for about an hour. I got about 7,000 steps in, which I think is really good considering I have not moved at all over the last 2 days. 10 minutes, 38 seconds in this strange world. Oh my goodness. I am emotional just thinking about it. This was a 4.5 star read for me. I actually loved it so much that I'm gonna buy the physical copy of this book. This book solidified that Elif Shafak is an instant buy author for me. I love this woman's storytelling and writing. I felt every possible emotion while reading this book. It was heartfelt, but I also felt angry at times. I laughed a lot. We're gonna pour ourselves a glass of wine now. I actually just worked with Amal Wines on a collab for a post that's going live soon. Their wines are delicious. I discovered them back in 2024, I believe, and genuinely, I'm not being sponsored to say this, this wine in particular is my favorite. It is so good. It's sparkling, it's fresh, it just genuinely tastes incredible. Guys, my brain is so fried. Why did I put ice in here? This is cold. Anyway, my wine is gonna be ice cold tonight, and hopefully this doesn't, you know what, there's too much ice in here. I'm going to start the next book in the Vicious trilogy, which is Vengeful, and I'm really excited to start this book. I think it's gonna be the perfect book to end this readathon with. So cheers, let's go start this 5th and final read for this readathon. The first chapter of this book has to be one of the most exciting, exhilarating chapters I have read in a while. New character unlocked in this second book, and I have a feeling I'm gonna love her. I'm I'm genuinely having so much fun with this plot. So excited that I have the arc for the third book, so I don't have to wait to find out what happens after this second book. But with that being said, I'm going to end this 24-hour readathon here, and I will be back very soon with another readathon, hopefully more successful than this one. Maybe we won't do 24 hours for the next one. 24 hours was a lot, I won't lie. I am going to head to bed now, give my eyes some much needed rest and relaxation, and I will see you guys very soon with another new video, I promise.